All right, good morning. So welcome to our therapeutic class this morning. And our theme this week is in the Yoga Sutras. The Yoga Sutras were written really to help people who are struggling at the time. There was a lot going on in the world, and there was a lot of struggling and a lot of suffering. And so the information was put together to try and help people. And one of the sections is sort of, if you need support, you can try this, you can try this, you can try that. These things might help you feel more ease or feel more peace. Some of the things they offer are doing chanting or meditating or prayer, if that's something that works for you. So there's lots of different suggestions. And at the end of the list, he kind of says, and anything else that makes you feel good, basically. Anything else that helps you to see things more clearly and be more grounded in the moment. And so today we're going with whatever helps, right? So we're going with the theme of whatever helps you in your time of need is what you can connect with. And the idea that what we focus on expands. So when we focus on what's positive and what we want to bring into our lives, we tend to invite or receive more of that. And when we focus on what we don't want and put a lot of attention on thinking about, I don't want that, I don't want that, I wish that didn't happen, or I don't want that to happen, or whatever, we tend to focus on those things, and we tend to get more of those things that we don't want as well. So the idea today is to fill our buckets with things that do help us to feel good, the things that nourish us, this idea of nourishment. So we're going to start seated. You can sit on the floor or on your chair, and I'll see you there. So coming to a comfortable seat, either sitting cross-legged on the floor with your legs stretched out if that's more comfortable, or on a chair or the couch with your feet flat on the floor. And ideally you're supporting your uprightness through your body, not by slumping into the chair or the couch. So let's take a moment to check in. So when we're all together in the studio, we take this time, and I invite you to check in verbally and let us know how you're doing. But take a moment now to check in internally. And notice if someone were to ask you how you're doing today, and you were to be really honest with them, what would you say? Just take a moment to be with the truth of what's real for you right now. Notice if you have a feeling of general fullness, if your life feels full and rich, if there's a general feeling of emptiness, like there's not enough or scarcity, or perhaps somewhere in the middle, content with the way things are. So just noticing that general feel for how you're doing this morning. And then let's bring the awareness right down into the belly. If you like, you can bring your hand to your belly if that helps you to bring some awareness there, but it's not necessary. You notice a general sense of how your belly feels this morning. So is there tightness or holding in your belly? Does it feel relaxed, at ease? Is there some movement as you breathe? And then let your attention move down to your hips and feel a sense, if you can, of being heavy through the sit bones and dropping into the support of your seat. And then when you have a sense of that heaviness or that groundedness, bring your awareness up to the heart and notice what's present around the area of your heart. So we're going to focus some attention on the area of the heart for now, and you can bring your hands one over the other, over the heart. And take a moment to imagine a container in your heart. And this could be a container that looks like a bucket or a bowl or a box, whatever occurs to you. And just take a moment to notice, does your container, the container of your heart, feel full and overflowing? Does it feel empty, completely empty, or just a few morsels in your bowl? And let this bowl represent the amount of resources or support, a feeling of comfort and ease in your life. Let it represent that. So notice, does your bowl feel full, empty, or somewhere in between? Or your container, whatever it looks like. And we're going to spend a little bit of time imagining ourselves filling that container. So start by bringing attention to the earth, to the ground, to what feeds you from the earth. So it could be your very own vegetable garden, or it could be the food that comes from the earth that you buy in the store. It could be a sense of grounding that you feel from the earth. So whatever you feel from the earth, whatever gifts you feel you receive from the earth, what nourishes you from the earth. And then we'll do a little gesture where you take your hands from the heart. Imagine you're scooping all of that goodness from the earth and bringing it to your heart. And you can do that a few times, just scooping up whatever gifts the earth has to offer, bringing them into your heart. And then eventually, when you feel full of whatever the earth has to offer, you can pause there for a moment. And then take a moment to imagine the gifts that come from your environment, from all around you, from the people, the places, the things that you cherish and love. What feeds you from the environment around you? And as those things occur to you, again, you can reach out and invite them in. So as you imagine a person or a place or even an object that gives you comfort, that gives you ease, that helps you to feel good, to feel nourished, drawing that in. And it could be absolutely anything. And when you feel full of the gifts from your environment, pausing there for a few breaths. Feeling that fullness within. And if today it feels like there aren't very many gifts or very many things that feed or nourish you, simply be with that with compassion. And we'll do one more visualization, which is to imagine the gifts from above or from your spiritual practice, your prayer life, whatever it is that feeds you from above or from outside of this plane, whatever that is. And if there's something that you connect with at this level, you could reach up and imagine you're inviting that in again to the heart. So whatever nourishes you from the heavens or from outside of this physical realm, bringing it into your heart. And when you've brought all of that in, pause there for a few breaths and imagine as you breathe, you're circulating that goodness, that fullness from your head to your toes with your breath. And the breath moves up and down and all around, fills you with all of those gifts, all of that goodness. And then releasing the hands, and we'll take a few centering breaths, reaching the arms overhead as you breathe in, bringing the hands together, bringing the hands down through the front of the body and releasing to the sides. And then you'll inhale and lift, bringing the hands together, releasing all the way down. Great. And then this time bringing the palms together and pausing at the heart, and we'll do a few rotations for the wrists. So if you take the hands and turn them palms down, bring the backs of the hands together and roll the hands out. Like you're opening the hands to receive whatever those gifts are, and then bringing them back in. So palms or backs of the hands together, coming down and around. So the hands come back together, receiving that gift, that abundance. And then again, opening the hands as if to receive whatever abundance is available, and then bringing it back into your heart. So we keep filling this container. Life itself has a way of sometimes depleting us. We give our energy away. We sometimes waste our energy. And so having practices that help us to fill back up again are really important. Right? And then so that we don't get greedy and hoarding, let's take all of that good energy, breathing it in, and then creating some space around us. So this time lifting with the breath in, and then sending that good energy out as a kind of aura or space around us. Feeling expanded through that movement. Great. Big circle, and we'll do one more like that. Okay, this time bringing the hands back behind you. You can take a hold of your chair, or if you're on the ground, you can bring your hands together behind you. Or if there's space on your chair, you can do that too. And let the chest lift, arms reach back, shoulders stay relaxed. Take a few breaths here. Feeling all that space around your heart. Good. Reaching the arms to the side, shoulders relax down. Do a few circles here with your wrists. Try to let go of tension in the back of the neck. So if that means lowering the arms, absolutely do that. Good. Give the arms a shake. And then reach out and cross the arms over your chest. Bring your hands to your shoulders. Let your head come down for a moment and take a few breaths here, feeling some space in the back of your body. Breathing into that space. Check which arm is on top and releasing to open again, breathing in, and then crossing the arms the other way. Again, you can round the upper back a little bit, let your head come down, and take a few breaths to breathe space into the upper back. Right, releasing, taking the arms out to the sides. Turn the palms up toward the ceiling, spread the fingers wide, breathe in and reach up. Good, let's stay here. Exhale, let your shoulders and arms relax a little bit. Good, inhale and lift the torso. Great, exhale, let's bring the hands to the thighs and let the body come forward now. Let the head release down. And then we'll repeat. So you'll inhale and expand and lift. Exhale, release, and come forward. Inhale, expand, and lift. Exhale, release, and come forward. Couple more. Go at your own pace. So if your pace is different than mine, definitely follow what's right for you. It's natural for you. Great. You can stay here for a couple of breaths. Either your hands or your forearms could rest on your thighs. You can let the head release. If it's comfortable, your chest might come to the thighs, arms hang down, and again, head releasing. Again, breathing into the space in the back of your body. When you come up, you can bring first your hands to your knees if you've lowered the arms. Use the hands to support you and come upright and then lift the arms up. Big circle to release. Take the feet just a little bit wider for a good solid and sturdy stance here. And then hands on your thighs, and we'll move the torso towards one thigh, over toward the other thigh, and back upright. So all of these movements help to create a feeling of spaciousness in the body. When we feel stressed, we feel compressed, we feel kind of locked down. And so today, as always, when we practice working to create some space, and as we create space in ourselves, the container that we've filled with nourishment also is able to grow and expand into that space. Let's come back to the center, do a few rounds of cat-cow, arching as you inhale, rounding as you exhale, going at your own pace. Feeling the fullness of the inhale without straining, the release of the exhale without forcing or pushing. Right, let's come back upright. And we're going to keep the hands on the thighs, and this could be done seated cross-legged fine as well. Hands on the thighs, and you'll turn to one side, come back to the center, turn to the other, so you can kind of press away, come back to center, press with the opposite leg, back to center. And then you can add a bit of a forward bend, turning to one side, almost like you're looking over your shoulder, turning to the other side. So you're coming up, keeping the spine long, add a little twist. Exhale as you twist and come forward. Inhale as you lift. All right, and then let's come back to the center. You can take one hand to the opposite leg. You're going to push out with the leg, push in with the hand so that the leg stays right where it was, but there's a little bit of tension against the leg. The other hand can come to your chair or to the ground or to your bolster if that's what you're sitting on. You're going to use that hand behind you to lift tall. Use the hand on the leg to keep the twist without forcing it. And then turn to look behind you. Bring your chin slightly down towards your collarbone. And take a few breaths here. Releasing around, you can switch sides. So one hand to the leg. Again, you're pushing out with the leg, in with the hand, up with the crown of the head. The other hand is pressing down into the chair or the floor. And you're turning back, chin slightly down. A nice, easy twist. Right, coming back to the center. Let's do a few more rounds of cat-cow. Breathing in, feeling the fullness of the inhalation. Exhalation, feeling the release, the letting go. Breathing in to abundance, to nourishment. Exhaling, making space, letting go of what you no longer need. So you can make space for the nourishment that you've invited in. All right, let's come back up to a nice neutral long spine again. And we'll add a side bend this time. So again, feet a little wider so you're not risking losing your balance. One hand to the chair. Use that hand to really press down and lengthen up, and extend the other arm up to the side. Right? If that bothers your shoulder, bend the elbow, bring it down as much as you need to. So we'll go up and a little over with an exhale. Come back to the center. You can inhale and lower the arm, and then exhale to the side. So inhale and exhale. If you prefer, you can keep the arm up and just lift to center and then go right into the next one. So it really depends on how it feels for your shoulder. If it's comfortable, stay a few breaths. And as you're staying, think about really lengthening. And again, using the hand on the chair to keep lifting the shorter side of the torso as well. So you're not collapsing, you're not trying to go as far as you can. Good. Let's come back to the center and let's just pause for a moment. You can bring both hands to your thighs, even close your eyes if you like, and notice how the one side feels compared to the other. Notice that spaciousness. So as we expand the containers of our bodies, that expansion called sukha, it brings ease, peacefulness in general when we feel more expanded in the body. And then we can fill that space with all of those nourishments that we've identified already. Well, let's work with the other side. So hand to the chair, using that hand to lengthen the spine and provide some support. The other arm lifts up, and again, options to keep the arm bent, to maybe bring it down each time, or to keep it up as you go to the side. So we're going to exhale and a little reach to the side, inhale to the center, maybe lower the arm, and then you're going to exhale again. So lowering the arm or not, and then when you feel ready, you can stay for a few breaths. Again, keep lengthening. It's not about how far you can go, but really finding some space in that long side, breathing into that space, feeling that fullness, the abundance, the nourishment, the breath, and then coming back to the center. Bring the arm down, and again, notice the spaciousness through that side of your body. We're going to come to stand now, and it might be helpful to have a surface, it could be a table or a chair to bring your hands to for this one. If you're comfortable on hands and knees, you could also just transition to hands and knees to do the cat-cow movement from all fours, but I'm going to demonstrate here with the chair. So you're either bringing your hands to your chair, or again, it could be all fours if your hands and knees are okay with that. So we're going to bend the knees a little bit. And then think about lifting the tail, lifting the head, breathing in. And you'll probably feel a little bit more stretch in the legs if you're standing than when you're sitting. And then as you exhale, you're rounding. So you're inhaling to lengthen and exhaling to round. Continue at your own pace. Now, if you're on all fours and you want to come to child's pose, feel free to do that. If you're at a chair and you want a little bit more stretch, you could bend your knees a bit more, maybe come to your elbows, let your head release down, and take a few breaths here. It depends on your proportions, how possible or comfortable it is to be on your elbows, but you may be more comfortable up on your hands, and that's fine too. Just want to think about finding a little release, letting the head hang down, and breathing here. And then when you're ready, we're we'll bend the knees a little more. You'll roll upright. And if you've been on hands and knees, you can come to a squat or step your feet under you, however you want to come to an upright standing position. And then as you get there, you can let the feet come apart. Bring the hands to the hips. Soften your knees and do some circles around with the hips. So after sitting for several minutes, getting a little more movement around those interesting hip joints. Lots of movement available in the hips, potentially. And you may notice as you do this movement, some areas of the circular movement feel maybe smoother than others. Maybe there's some places where it feels really comfortable, other places where it's not as comfortable. So go slowly, tune in, be curious. If you need to adjust the size of your movement so that you're not creating tension or pain, then do that. Right, and then let's come back to the center again. You can keep your hands on your hips. And see if you can imagine that your rib cage is separate, which it is, from your hips. And we're going to try to bring just the ribs to one side and then to the center. And then just the ribs to the other side, center. You can find that movement where you're articulating between the hips and the ribs. And then maybe you could do a little movement with your rib cage. Just see what happens when you try that. Right, and then come back to the center and you can release the arms down. And we'll try some circles with the shoulders. So now lifting the shoulders, rolling them back and down. And then if you try rolling the shoulders independently and alternating, then the whole body starts to move. So the hips swing a little, the rib cage moves, the shoulders move, and you can let the head move as well. And finding the position for your feet. So I'm finding my feet want to be a little closer together for this one, so you can adjust to make the stance right for you. After you've done a few rotations one way, try going the other way, see how that feels. Great, and then let's come back to the center again. So take the feet a little bit wider again, maybe about the distance of your shoulders or perhaps slightly wider. And we'll take both arms and raise them up overhead. Again, you can bend your elbows if you need to. Soften your knees. And we'll release one hand down to the side as we reach over with the other. Reaching up. Good. And then coming up to the center. Release the other arm down and over to the side. So we're coming up with a breath in, going to the side with an exhale. Following your own pace as always. And one more to either side. And then when you come back to the center, let's reach all the way down toward the ground or to the thighs. Inhale, come all the way back up. And let's do that a few times. So you could stop with your elbows or hands on your thighs. You could reach down toward the ground, or if your chair is handy, to your chair. This time when you come forward, feel free to stay for a few breaths. So again, it could be hands or elbows resting on your thighs or reaching toward the ground or your chair. Keep your knees a little soft, let your head release. Take a couple more breaths here. When you're ready to come up, soften your knees even more. Lift all the way up with a breath in. Exhaling to release. So from here, let's come back to that visualization or gesturing that we were doing to begin with. So the idea that we're receiving nourishment from the earth, we're receiving nourishment from all around and from above. Right, so we'll do each 3 times. So start with a breath in. Exhale, reach down for the earth. And as if you're scooping up all those gifts, bring them to the heart. Release, and again, reaching up with a breath in. Exhale, scooping those gifts. Inhale back to the heart. Exhale here. Once more, inhale, lift. Exhale, scooping nourishment from the earth, drawing it to the heart. Good. And then from here, the nourishment from all around, opening the arms, breathing in. And then exhale, bringing it into the heart. Again, inhale, opening to receive. Exhale, bringing it to the heart. Again. And then nourishment from another realm or from the heavens, however you want to define that. You're going to inhale, reach up. Exhale, back to the heart. Inhale, lift. Exhale to the heart. Once more. Good. And take a couple of breaths here, feeling whatever fullness you've been able to encounter in that visualization exercise. Press down into your heels, lift through the crown of your head, feel long, feel connected to the earth and connected to the heavens at the same time. Your body is the conduit for all of that energy. And when you're ready, release your hands down. For the next one, you could use the chair, a chair if you have one to support you. You can also just support yourself with your hand on the leg. So I'll do both. I'll show you both ways. So let's start with the chair. So what you're going to do, if you've got a chair, you're going to bring one foot really close to the chair and the other foot away. So you've got some space between your two legs. And then the foot that's closest to the chair, or it doesn't matter if you don't have a chair, either leg, you're going to turn the foot all the way to the side so that your knee is also pointing in the same direction. So if I bend my knee, I actually hit my chair. So you want to have the ability to bend your knee a little bit here just so you're not overstretching. You'll take your arms to the sides, breathing in. We're going to reach into a side bend. So you can reach to the side and either place your hand on the top of the chair, the bottom of the chair for a little bit more, or to the leg, which is somewhere in between. The other palm turns forward and you can reach that arm up. And then imagine that your body is in a straight line side to side. So as if you were between two walls or two panes of glass. So you're not leaning forward, you're not leaning back. If you need some relief for the shoulder that's up in the air, you can bring that arm behind your back. And then think about drawing that shoulder back a little bit. So our tendency is to kind of collapse forward in triangle pose. See if you can think about opening up this side of the rib and the waist by drawing the shoulder back a little bit, whether your arm is up or down. Great, let's come back up to the center and release. So if you're using a chair and you want to use a chair on the other side, you can turn your body around 180 degrees or move the chair to the other side. If you're not using a chair, it doesn't matter. So either way, we'll turn the foot. You can slightly bend the knee. You want to make sure you don't bend the knee past the straight up and down with the ankle. So just in line with the ankle or a little bit less, just enough so you're not overstretching and you're not hyperextending that knee. Arms to the sides. Again, you can reach out to the side. Try to do that without pushing your hip out. So you're just reaching the rib cage, moving, sliding to the side, and then the hand can come down to the leg or to the chair, or to the top of the chair. Other arm either reaching straight up or bringing it behind your back. So again, we'll take a few breaths here. Again, think about that upper shoulder moving a little bit back, whether the arm is up or down, and breathing into that long side. Good. Slowly making your way back upright, and turn the feet back parallel and lower the arms down. From here, let's bring the feet together, give everything a little bit of a shake. Right. Bend and straighten your knees a few times. Good. You can shake out a little bit here, and then we'll lift up with the breath in. Good. Exhale, sweep forward, reach all the way down to the earth. Pause here for a moment. It could be hands or elbows on your thighs, could be arms dangling down, head releasing down. Take a moment in gratitude for the gifts of the earth. When you're ready, come all the way up, reaching with a breath in, arms coming up as you lift up, and then exhaling to release down to the sides. So again, we're going to come into a bit of a side bend, so the feet a little bit wider apart. Again, turning one foot towards the side, and you can always bend and straighten the knee a few times just to make sure the knee and ankle and toes are all pointing in the same direction. The other foot for this one, probably want to turn it in slightly. Now your hips might turn a little bit, that's fine if that helps to keep your knee over your ankle. So hips a little bit turned or straight forward, arms to the sides. And we're going to rock the weight, lifting the back heel, coming onto the toes, rock the weight toward the front foot, and then you can lift the toes, maybe even lift the heel, rocking back. So we're going one way and the other. You can lift the foot, or you can keep the toes or the heel on the ground. If you're feeling more confident, try lifting the feet as you go side to side. Great, and then let's come back to the center. You can release the arms down for a moment, just give them a little bit of a break. Set the feet up again, so one foot is pointing straight out to the side. The other foot is just here for grounding for the moment. Arms to the sides, and then you can step onto the foot that's turned to the side. Come onto the toes of the back foot, maybe lift that leg. If you need to keep the toes on the ground, that's fine. If you need to reach and hold your chair, absolutely fine. So pausing here, if you can lift that leg a little higher and that's comfortable, go for it. Good, let's step back. Good, release the arms. Turn the feet parallel. Give a little shake. So let's try the same thing on the other side. So if you're using a chair and you want to move it to the other side, you can certainly do that. So we'll take the foot, turn it to one side, the other foot, whatever angle is comfortable for you. Bend the knee a little bit, arms to the sides, and we'll just go back and forth a few times. So you can keep the toes down, maybe keep the heel down, or as you rock, lift each foot. Just finding your balance as best you can today. And then come back down, placing the feet, so checking that the one foot is straight out to the side, that there's perhaps a little bend in the knee if necessary. And then you can try coming onto the toes of the back foot. Again, this back shoulder wants to move back a bit because the tendency is to collapse forward. As long as it feels okay on the standing leg, you could try lifting the other leg. Again, if you've got a chair and you want to use it, you can. If you can lift that leg a little higher and feel engaged through the hip and that's comfortable, stay there. Good, and then come back down, releasing, turning the feet parallel. You can bring the feet together, and again, just shake it out. A big breath in, reaching up. Good. Exhale, sweeping down, letting your head release toward the earth. Inhale, coming back up again. Exhale, coming forward. A few more at your own pace. Great. And then as you come upright this time, let's release and bring the arms down to the sides. So pause for a moment here. Feel again your feet connecting with the earth. Feel the gifts of the earth nourishing you through the soles of your feet. That sense of grounding, stability that we get from the earth. So bringing in gratitude for that gift of the earth, gratitude for the gift of the environment, the air, the water. And being grateful also for the gifts that come from above, the ether, whatever those gifts of nourishment are for you. So we're nourished from below, from above, and from all around. And just take a moment to see if you can connect with that feeling of being nourished. And again, if today you feel undernourished, like those gifts just aren't available to you, see if you can connect with compassion. So we're going to make our way now down to the ground. So you can just move anything out of your way as I am. And then making your way onto your mat or onto the floor, onto your back. And as you come to lie down, you can bring your hands somewhere on your body where you can feel your breath. Your legs could be bent here. That allows your lower back to be a little bit more lengthened and relaxed. Take a moment to feel the gentle fullness of your breath. The rising and the falling with as much ease as possible. And then if you take the feet and bring them in together, bring the knees together, and bring your hands side by side, either on the lower rib cage or on the belly, elbows on the ground. So the movement here will be to externally rotate the knees, the legs and the arms at the same time. So you can keep the elbows on the ground as you take the arms out to the sides, take the knees toward the ground. You're breathing in as you do this movement. And then you'll bring the hands back to the belly, knees back together. Put a little pressure into the feet as you exhale. So inhaling, really easeful, elbows stay on the ground. Exhaling back to the center. Move at your own pace. If possible, think about slowing this movement down a little bit with your breath. But if that creates strain in your breath, just go at whatever pace is most comfortable. All right, next time your hands come back to your body and your knees come back together, stay there. And then we'll bring both knees up in toward the chest, one hand to each knee. And moving forward and back now, breathing in as your knees move away, straightening your arms. Breathing out as your knees come in and you bend your arms. So let's keep one hand on the knee on the same side. So if it's your right hand, your right knee, take the other leg to the ground, stretch that leg out, press down into that heel, press away with the heel away from the hip, and then take the other arm and extend it overhead. Now, if that's not comfortable for your shoulder, out to the side is fine as well. We're thinking about squeezing gently in with one side as we expand and open the other side. Breathing into the long side for a few breaths as you gently, firmly compress the other side. And then we'll come back into the center, bringing both knees in for a few breaths. You can rock a bit side to side or whatever would feel good. And then other hand on the opposite knee. You're going to take the other leg, stretch it out. Again, keep that leg active. Heel down, toes up, reaching away from the hip with the heel. And then other arm out to the side or overhead. And as much as you're gently drawing in with one side, you're releasing and gently expanding with the other, breathing into that longer side. And then eventually bringing the knee back in. And again, you can rock a little side to side. Right, and then try making some circles with your knees. Go one way and then the other. Squeezing in for a couple of breaths. And then you can expand the legs up toward the ceiling, arms again, either sides or overhead, and then back into the chest. So inhaling as you reach and expand out. Exhaling as you draw in. You can stay in that expanded place for a few breaths, maybe even separate the feet and circle the ankles. It can be much easier if the knees are a bit bent here. So if you feel any strain in the lower back, bend your knees a little or even a lot. And you can give the legs a shake. If you like, you can also reach the arms up, give them a shake. And the knees back to the chest. So we'll move into relaxation, Shavasana. And if there's other movement that you want to do before we do that, feel free. My advice is if you move into a twist, which seems to be quite a common thing to want to do at the end of a class before Shavasana, go for the twist, absolutely fine. After the twist, you want to bring your back into alignment, so realigning your back with a little forward and back movement, or repeating that expanded and then back into the center movement. So take a minute or two while I get settled and move my position. You can do any other movement that you'd like and then get settled, either lying down for relaxation, or if you prefer, you can sit for more of a meditation. So as you're ready, you can slowly start to wind down and find your comfortable position. And start to feel the ground beneath you and your body begin to soften and relax and drop into the support of the earth. And as you exhale and feel yourself drop into the support of the earth, excuse me, feel yourself dropping into that abundance, the gifts of nourishment of the earth, perhaps connecting with gratitude for that sense of stability and grounding and whatever other gifts you receive from the earth. Feel the support, soften and relax into that support as much as possible. Feel your body drop down and let go. And then be aware of the space around you, the room that you're in if you're inside, or perhaps the space around you outside, but being aware of that spaciousness, that fullness, openness, and all the gifts of the elements, the earth, the air, the fire, the water, the gifts of your senses to receive those gifts from the environment, the nourishment that you receive through your senses, the beautiful things you see and smell and touch and taste. And feeling the abundance, the fullness of all of those gifts from your environment. And then also being aware of the gifts from outside of this realm that come from the spirit world or the ether world. And feeling the nourishment from that part of your life, that part of your practice as well. And with all of that fullness, feel yourself again supported by the earth and let yourself exhale and drop down a little bit more now. Feel yourself release and let go of the effort of the practice. Feel with each exhalation that you let go of a little bit more tension or holding in your body. And that as you let that exhale go, you're making space for fullness, for abundance, for nourishment. So each exhale, letting go of what doesn't serve you, letting go of what keeps you bogged down, and then allowing the inhale to create space to fill you with abundance and resilience. Let the muscles around your jaw, neck, and face relax. Shoulders and arms let go. Feel your rib cage heavy and the breath move with as much ease as possible from the rib cage to the belly. As you exhale, feel a continued softening through the body. And dropping down through the pelvis, feel the weight of your hips and pelvis. Release and soften any tension, any holding. Feel your legs let go. Knees and thighs release, calves and ankles softening. The soles of your feet, the tops of your feet, and every toe releasing. Each breath letting go, tension, holding, restriction. Each inhale inviting in fullness, nourishment, space. Exhale, softening, letting go, creating space for the next breath to fill you with abundance, nourishment, ease. The chant today reminds us that no matter how empty, how lost we feel, that there is a basic fullness or wholeness to us that can't be broken. We talked about it last week with Purusha, this part of us that is completely resilient, that can't be seen or touched, but is always full and rich, beautiful. And today our aim was to connect even a little bit with that place of abundance and fullness. So the chant represents that today. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So if you're ready to move on with your day and ready to kind of meet the next task, you can start to deepen your breath a little bit. And if you want to stay a little longer here in this place of softening and relaxing, just go ahead and stay. You can turn off the recording or just ignore me. And if you're ready to move on, starting to deepen your breath a little, invite a bit more energy into the body, eventually start to add some movement, maybe fingers and toes waking up first, and then ankles, wrists, arms, and legs. Just taking your time to stretch and move in any way that would feel good. And eventually you can come back upright if that's the trajectory you're on. And when you do come back upright, bringing one hand over the other, over the heart, and take a few breaths here to reconnect with any feeling of nourishment that you may have received from the practice today. And knowing that nourishment is always available to us, what we focus on expands. We can use our minds to help us feel more full, more abundant, more nourished. And we can also help others to feel the same way by reminding them of that connection to our thoughts and feelings and our reality. One more nice full breath. Exhale completely. And then you can bring your palms together. Namaste.